Currently, I'm live streaming some Genshin Impact gameplay, so if you're interested to some Christmas holiday live stream goodness, and you maybe want to chat about the content in this video about the new reveals, you can go over to twitch.tv/MrTimeleap and support me over on Twitch as well, as I'm planning to live stream on the regular basis, maybe 2 to 3 times a week. So, with that personal plug out of the way, let's jump straight into the video. Who would have thought that the promo Angel Feather card that sounded really bad now actually becomes really good? Because Angel Feathers takes the concept of damage to the next level. Stand up! Vanguard! Hey Cardfighters, welcome back to another Cardfight update, and on this Christmas holiday, which is really special because not only is it the Feast of Festivals or whatever you want to call it, it is also my personal birthday. And Bushiroad could have maybe switched things up a little bit because they revealed Gear Chronicle last Friday, so if they revealed it this week, it was the perfect gift for me. But I can understand why they went for angels, because angels and Christmas and the whole thing, it's more fitting. And even though it's not gears, I have to say, this new support for Angel Feathers is really interesting, and probably even for non-Angel Feather players might be something to look at, as this opens up a lot of big brain plays and a lot of options. So to clarify what I'm talking about, let's jump straight into these new cards for Angel Feather, or should I say the new Malkuth-Melekh, as there's a lot to analyze here. So let's start by looking at the grade 1, because the new grade 1 for Angel Feathers is Persistent Angel. And this grade 1 has the following skill: act on Vanguard circle once a turn, cast Soul Blast 1, draw a card, discard a card from your hand, and put up to 1 card with Malkuth-Melekh in its card name from the drop zone on the top of your deck. So for a Soul Blast, you basically cycle card and you can put a specific card on the top of your deck. This can either be the old Malkuth-Melekh or the new Malkuth-Melekh. Now, this in itself doesn't really sound all that great because it's just a generic cycle, which again costs you resources to enable, which wasn't really great, and Angel Feathers already got access to these type of cards. But now also you put a specific grade 3 on the top of your deck, which means you screw over with your drive checks, and as seen as it's an act ability on a rearguard circle, means you cannot even chain this off like Oracle Think Tank can with their starters, where they can immediately draw into it. So you might think to yourself, what's the point of this card? What's the point of this skill? Well, you will understand this once we take a look at the new Malkuth-Melekh, because then we understand what the actual power is behind this grade 1. So before that, let's first take a look at the new grade 2 and then jump into the new Malkuth-Melekh himself. So for the new grade 2 for Angel Feathers, we have Holy Road Angel, and its ability is auto Vanguard and Rearguard circle. When placed, look at the 7 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with Malkuth-Melekh in its card name from among them, and put them into your hand. Shuffle your deck, reveal up to 1 normal unit from your hand, and put it on the top of your deck. This ability may only be used by a card with the same card name once a turn. So this is basically a Malkuth-Melekh searcher, as it can search out the old Malkuth-Melekh or the new Malkuth-Melekh, and then you can put once again a normal unit on top of your deck. You can once again ask yourself, what's the point of that? Because this doesn't give you card advantage, it just trades a potential grade 3 from the top 7 with a normal unit card from your hand to the top of your deck. But this all plays in with the new Malkuth-Melekh, and then suddenly it makes a lot more sense what we're actually trying to do here. And the great aspect about this grade 2 is that it allows you to search out once again the old Malkuth-Melekh, because that's what we're actually aiming for with this card. But let's look at the new Malkuth-Melekh to really understand what these grade 1s and grade 2s try to do, as well as the old promo that we already discussed in the previous Cardfight update, as this playstyle is really something else. Because the brand new boss unit for Angel Feathers is this card, Cephalef Aider Shin MalkuthMelekh. And Cephalef Aider has a very interesting subset of skills, because its first ability is a doozy, because that's auto. When revealed for a damage check, if your Vanguard is Arc-Aider Malkuth-Melekh, cast, discard a card from your hand, and write this card as stand. Okay, there is a lot to talk about with only this skill, because this is effectively a superior write engine, as it allows you to superior write into this card from the old Malkuth-Melekh. So the idea is that you sit on the old Malkuth-Melekh and then activate this skill to then superior right into this Malkuth-Melekh, which enables you to accelerate your Protect markers. And that is really good because it allows you to gain multiple Protect 1 markers, but as we're going to see in a second here, you're going to aim for Protect 2 in Standard at least. Now, the interesting part about this skill, which opens up a lot of interesting interactions, is the fact that you need to reveal this card for a damage check. Which means you want to stack this new grade 3 on the top of your deck. And now, it makes sense why the grade 1 and the grade 2 allows you to put normal units, or in the grade 1 case, specifically a Malkuth-Melekh, on the top of your deck. Because that means you can utilize their skill, draw into some cards that you need, and then stack the new Malkuth-Melekh on the top of your deck. And the grade 2 is interesting in the sense that it allows you to check top 7 for a Malkuth-Melekh and then stack a random normal unit from your hand to the top of your deck. That allows you to do two different things. It allows you to potentially draw into the normal Malkuth-Melekh, which you want to write on grade 3 turn, but it also allows you to get the new Malkuth-Melekh, Shin MalkuthMelekh, from the top 7 into your hand and then immediately put it back on top of your deck. So let's say, for example, your second card was the new Malkuth-Melekh. You can then put it up to the top of your deck, which is where you want to have this card. Now, those cards allow you to set up this particular card. But now we get to the interesting part of how the interactions work with this card, because it needs to be revealed during a damage check. Which means you can synergize this with the old Malkuth-Melekh that shoots itself at damage, because you can use that card, Soul Blast 1, superior call multiple cards to the field, then it shoots itself at damage. But if that is the new Malkuth-Melekh, this card, then you can immediately write it, which allows you to then gain even more advantage. And this is where we get into the interesting part, because if you look at this skill, it doesn't state anything about reapplying a new damage. So this is effectively a heal, because you gain a damage and then immediately superior writes it, which means it's out of your damage zone and you don't replace the card. So this is a heal in disguise, which means if you write the old Malkuth-Melekh, you can Counterblast 2, heal a card, then Soul Blast a card, superior call field, deal itself a damage, and immediately heal the damage again to superior write into this new card. Which basically means you get to heal for free, or pseudo 2 heals, but we can go even further beyond this and actually synergize this with other cards. Because the previous rescue check support for Gavriel has grade 2s, which are generic, and if you synergize that with the new grade 1 and grade 2 support from this new Malkuth-Melekh, you can turn those rescue checks into actual heals. Because you can stack the Malkuth-Melekh on top of your deck, then call the grade 2s to the field, use the rescue check, you rescue check this new Malkuth-Melekh, which goes into the damage zone and immediately heals itself. But you already healed for the rescue check, so that means you actually healing yourself while applying more pressure and enabling this mechanic. Now, interesting enough, it can also be utilized during your opponent's turn, because if you for some reason are sitting on the old Malkuth-Melekh and you damage check the new Malkuth-Melekh, you can immediately write the card, which basically gives you an extra heal. There's a chance that you heal during your opponent's turn. And if you went for Protect 1, you also get the Protect marker, which then allows you potentially save your ass during your opponent's turn. Which is really interesting, and in Premium, this becomes even crazier, because in Premium, you have the G-Guardians, which allows you to rescue check yourself, so you can synergize this. There's potential that you can place this at the end of your turn on the top of your deck, so you can set it up more easily. And in Premium, you also have access, if I'm correctly on this one, to mid-battle phase rescue check skills, so you can attack with your stride, which will have the old Malkuth-Melekh name because it keeps the old name if you at least tried on top of that one. And then if you already attack with the Vanguard, you can use maybe one of those rear guards that enables a mid-battle rescue check and then damage the new Malkuth-Melekh and then allow you to superior write onto it. And because it states that you write a stand specifically, means you get a second Vanguard swing. This is sadly not possible in Standard, but in Premium you can take this card to the next level in all kinds of crazy ways. And you know what's interesting and crazy about this whole thing that we're talking about? We've only been talking about its first skill. We haven't even looked at the other 2 skills this card has. That tells you how good this card actually is, because this first skill alone opens up so many possibilities and actually makes Angel Feathers a really really interesting clan to play and to pilot and to strategize and do all kinds of crazy interesting things that you might come up with. So already on this skill alone, I am super loving this card. But we have 2 more skills to go over, so let's go over them and so we can analyze this card even better and to understand what we can actually do with it beyond this potential superior riding healing interaction. So his second ability is a continuous on Vanguard circle skill. During your turn, if you have 2 or more protect markers on your circles, all of your front row units get power plus 10k. So this is what I meant at the beginning when we talked about skill, that you might want to focus on Protect 2, because with Protect 2 you can enable this skill, and because you superior ride into him, you can do this on the very first grid free turn that you ride, if you have access to these cards. So you can ride 1, gain a Protect 1, then superior ride into him, gain the second Protect 1, and suddenly your front row get plus 10k power. So this is really nice. It gains extra additional power, and it synergizes with basically everything that Angel Feather wants to do, and it applies more pressure onto your field. And if you use this in premium with the superior ride engine, that means that once you superior ride into him, suddenly your rearguards will also gain that extra 10k power, which is really nice, and it will be even stronger because you're utilizing Protect 2. But we can go even beyond that, because its third skill is pretty good, as its continuous on Vanguard circle. All of your units on the rearguard circle with protect markers cannot be retired by any player's card effects. So this means it's safe from your effects, and it means it's safe of your opponent's effects. It specifically chooses retire, so it can still be affected by bounce, bound, and that kind of stuff. But it's nice against retire clans that have indiscriminate field retire wipes, and it is especially really good with the old support that we've got at the beginning of this year with the old Malkuth-Melekh, because not only do we have the 8 Reuters, the grade 1 and grade 2, which retire themselves for the skill, they no longer retire themselves. So you can use those cards for the Sentinel Guard Restrict and the field retire or the field manipulation on your opponent's side for free, because those cards doesn't cost you anything, and they now stay on the board, which is really nice because they are strong beaters. But it also makes the Protect 2 marker angels, the Sexio Angel and Amputation Angel, a lot better, because not only will your columns be even stronger and you can attain those Protect markers faster, so that makes Amputation Angel more deadly, but it also makes Sexio Angel a lot better because she does have some inherent protection and she can be a interceptor from the back row, but she wasn't safe against indiscriminate field retire. Now with this skill, she is safe, which means she will become a more consistent interceptor from the back row, which means your defensive capabilities will increase, which is already really good because we already have inherent healing potential with this new card, and we're accelerating the protect markers, which means our defensive capabilities are already higher than normal. So as we're seeing, Malkuth-Melekh, or should I say Shin MalkuthMelekh, opens up a lot of interesting things for standard as well as premium, and both formats will have different things to think about and to apply with this new card. So honestly, I am very excited for this card because it opens up a lot of interesting plays and it can allow you to do some crazy things, because on first glance this is just a generic superior rider that puts some extra power onto the board. But once you see the interactions with the rescue check and the fact that it allows you to actually heal you a card within its skills, opens up the opportunity to do some really shenanigan plays, which I am all about. So honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better present on my birthday for a card like this. Yes, it's not Gear Chronicle, but this is basically just as good. So I think Angel Feather players are pretty happy with this little Christmas present. But with that said, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of these new cards for Angel Feathers. They are looking pretty interesting and opens up a lot of options. So I think a lot of players are very happy. That said, don't forget, I'm currently live streaming over at twitch.tv/MrTimeleap. So if you want to talk about these cards directly after you watch this video, or you want to see me do some Genshin Impact gameplay stuff or whatever, or just want to talk or chit chat, then head over to twitch.tv/MrTimeleap, and I hopefully see you guys there. As always, this video has been brought to you by our lovely patrons over at patreon.com/VanguardInsider. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support the channel or everything that's happening on the channel, you can simply go to patreon.com/VanguardInsider and become a patron today. But with that said, I'm Mr. Timeleap, and I see you guys in the next one. And of course, a Merry Christmas.